We we are getting ready to go live here at on YouTube live broadcast. We're getting ready to bring you right here at radio station KUCB. This is another live broadcast. Hope that you can hear us out there. Pick us up as we bring you this live broadcast. This is kind of still missing. We call it part 2. But before we jump into that, we want to let you know that you are listening to radio station KUCB. I'm your host, Brother Jamal. Here in Des Moines, Iowa, we had a low-power 10-watt education radio station. We had it for about 20 years, and we was on the air for 24 hours, and we had about 60, maybe 65 volunteers. The founders of radio station KUCB, Miss Joanne Cheatham and Brother Charles Knox. Also, I had the pleasure and honor working with Sister Hadasha Marion. We did about worked about 20 years on the KUCB radio, and so many other things in the community. But my greatest, I think, joy was working with her in the community, and also we hosted a show called International Found Call Hour on radio station KUCB, and we also did a weekly show on radio station KUCB called the African Liberation Hour. And we had a show on Sunday called Towards Understanding in Islam that she hosted, myself, we hosted that sometime, alternated. Sometimes she would do a weekly show entitled the Women in Islam. She would do that. So after we lost the license in the late 90s, we decided we would go to social media where we would do the videos, and they would be just like radio station KUCB was. So the YouTube broadcast that we do is something similar to radio station KUCB and the kind of station that we had and the way we kind of operated and the way we ran that thing for 20-some years. So we do these live. If you pick this up later on, if you pick it up live now on this on the channel here on YouTube, we've been doing a series of broadcasts on black women and black girls that are missing. We did like maybe 4 or 5 shows on that, and we continue to do shows on that because it's continuing to be a issue and a concern, and people should really be concerned about it, should be doing everything they can to really kind of, let the public know and let people know and let the authorities know if they see anything wrong going on, suspect anything, have saw something or know something, I want to report to you that in Avon, Indiana, a young black mother is missing. Avon, Indiana, a young black mother is missing. Anyone know the whereabouts? They should really let the people know, let the authorities know. This sister's been missing for quite some time. She's been missing, and her family is still worried about her. And this is a mother that's missing now. So she has, I'm sure she had family members, she has siblings, and they all are worried and concerned about her whereabouts. As I said, Avon, Indiana, a mother is missing, has been for quite some time. Don't have much details about that, but I want to pass it on to you. Also, missing a black young girl about 12 years of age from the south side of Chicago. This was reported through ABC Channel 7 News in Chicago. A young black girl missing about 12 years of age from the south side of Chicago. The other thing I want to, as I'm going through my notes here, we had talked about this some time ago, and we didn't have much details, or didn't have that much information about a young black woman, a social activist up around Columbus, Ohio. Her name was Amber Evans. I think she was like around 28 years old. A social activist, Amber Evans. She vanished near a month ago, and they found her car was abandoned. Since that time, we got some information that we wanted to report to you about Amber Evans. It has been reported that Amber Evans, she vanished near a month ago. Her car was found abandoned. It's been reported through BET that social justice advocate Amber Evans, her body was found aside of the river. Body was found in the river. This was up around the Columbus, Ohio. So they did find her body. They did find it after being missing for almost a month. Amber Evans, they found her body. BET reported this. Social justice advocate been missing since late January. Her body was found in the river up around the Columbus, Ohio area. They found her body. She was about a 28-year-old sister, and she had been missing for quite some time. So they found her body. They didn't know what had happened to her. The other thing I want to mention to you too, you heard me talk about, and you heard me probably mention this on some of the other broadcasts, a town north of St. Louis, Missouri. This was reported through KTV1 radio station in St. Louis, Missouri. A town north of St. Louis, a country small community, is called Berkeley, Missouri. There's been 33 kids have disappeared since 2000. 33 kids have disappeared since 2000. Out of those 33 kids, 12 of those kids are black girls, just disappeared from that county, Berkeley, Missouri. 33 kids have disappeared. Out of the 13 of those kids, 12 were black girls. Also, I got a report that up around the Pennsylvania area, Philadelphia area, over a month's time, seven young ladies, 7 black girls have went missing in the Philadelphia area in the past month. Once again, 7 black girls have went missing in the Philadelphia area in the past month. Now, this should be alarming to us, and we should really think about something is going on. I know sometimes, these young girls and these young black women, they may get into it with their boyfriends, they may run away from home. I know all these things come into play. And I'm saying, in these cases, if anybody have seen anything, they know anything, they need to report those kind of situations. But we also need to think about the fact, isn't it Isn't it strange, or does we don't find this strange, or we don't find it unusual that these many black women and black girls are just coming up, disappearing and missing? Don't we find that? Do we do not find that strange or unusual that is happening? We should be. We should be alarmed about it, and we should be outraged about it, and we should be doing everything we can to locate these young black girls and young black women who are missing. If we know something, if we've seen something, I know oftentimes we take this attitude that we don't want to get involved, or we don't want to say nothing. We need to forget about that foolish way of thinking and say if we seen or know something, then we report it. We need to say something. Let me just say too, this is concerning I know most of what I've been talking about has been black girls and black women. But this is so important that I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. Let me also mention too, a young lady by the name of Carrie Williamson. Her birthday is 3/27/02. She was last seen 3/20/2019. This is in Harlem, in the Bronx. She's missing. Her name is Carrie Williamson. She was last seen 3/20/2019. Her date of birth is 3/27/02. Harlem, in the Bronx. She's been missing. And her family, friends, everybody is really just out of their mind because they don't know what happened. They don't know where this young lady is at. As I said, once again, she's been missing since last Wednesday, 3/20/2019. Her birthday is 3/27/02. Harlem, in the Bronx. That's where she was missing from. And so I wanted to mention that to you, but the thing I wanted to just throw in here, I know we've been talking about black girls and black women missing, young black women missing. This is something that I saw, and I think it's important enough to bring it to your attention. This is like a cold case, DeKalb County, Georgia. This is like a 20-year-old cold case, DeKalb County, Georgia. A black boy's body was found. They say between the age of 4 and 8. Found there. It's called the Clifford Springs Road. Off of the Clifford Springs Road, there's a cemetery. That's where his body was found. This was reported from the Fox 5 News. This is like a 1999 cold case, 20 years something. A young black boy body was found. And they say he was between the age of 4 and 8 years of age. And they're trying to find probably family, somebody that may know something about this disappearance of this young black boy. Like I said, this is a 20-year-old cold case, DeKalb County, Georgia. That's what it's happened at. And it said it's off the Clifford Springs Road. There's a cemetery there. That's where Fox 5 News reported this. This goes back, dates always back to 1999, a cold case. So I wanted to mention that because I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. Oftentimes we see situations where, sex trafficking is a real big thing right now. Sex trafficking and sex slaves is a real big thing. And so oftentimes these people set up these kind of operations. They could be in an abandoned house. They could be in abandoned buildings. They could be in motels where they hold these young girls and then they sell them or get them into sex trafficking. Once that happens, they may not be seen or heard from again. Unfortunately, sometimes these young girls run away from home. And I know sometimes, I say this to any family members, mother, father, sisters, brothers, whoever may catch this and may see it. The worst scenario is when you have a young girl or a young woman to get into it with their parents, one parent, both parents, family members, and they decide to take off and run away from home. And unfortunately, what they don't realize, they may think that the situation is grim and they can't do anything. They don't have any freedom. But once they run away from home and run into, they don't know what they are going into. That can be like a nightmare, because you can sometimes you can do something or get yourself in a situation, and later on you'll be wishing and praying that you had not did that or had not ran away from home. Sometimes these young black women can get involved with some crazy whacked out wacko. I mean, I call it that. I mean, sometimes the brothers, sometimes black men can be whacked out. I mean, simply whacked out. And so sometimes these young sisters get themselves involved with these guys, and they can do bodily harm to them, not only to their to themselves, the black sister, but they can also do bodily harm to the kids if they have any kids, because sometimes they be just that whacked out, you know. They wanna, and sometimes you get brothers feeling like, acting like if they can't have you, then can't nobody else have you, you know. That jealous and that rage, and once that turns into that, and sometimes the domestic situations, they lead into some crazy stuff. Sisters can be doing some crazy stuff sometimes, brothers can be doing some crazy stuff, and all of that have an impact on the kids. The kids and the young ones, when they see that stuff, they hear that stuff, they witness it, it has a devastating impact on their lives and on the child. We need to be aware of that. You know, we need to get to the point where if you with somebody, and if you arguing and fighting and fussing all the time, then it's time for somebody to go. Because eventually what happens is that fussing and fighting and arguing leads into somebody doing something crazy. It could be the man, it could be the woman. It could swing either way. See? And then if you get somebody that's really just crazy and jealous, that's a whole nother bag. See? A crazy, jealous person that gets angry, that's like a counter peg waiting to explode. That's what you get into. And somebody that's got an explosive personality, jealousy, envy, all that crazy stuff mixed together, you got serious problem in domestic situations. I'll say to any young girls and any young women, domestic situations is where more people get hurt and more people lose their lives. It could be the individual, it could be the kids, it could be that person trapped, caught up in that. You know? So I'm just saying, these are the things that we should be concerned about. The other thing I want to say too, to young black women and young black girls, you need to always be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You know, because one of the things that we are seeing happening, and it could be very well going down, there's on the black market, body parts are worth a lot of money now. And also body parts from black men and black women. Who's to say that this is not what's going on with so many black women disappearing, and sometime in some of these cases, these black women are found, their bodies are found, discovered in various locations, and sometime they are discovered that they have been murdered, you know. And so I'm saying to young black women and young black girls in these police departments around the country, we've been hearing and we've been collaborating and talking to people, and we don't know, but the talking is, the notion is that these white supremacist groups have infiltrated into these police departments. See? And the same kind of hatred that they exhibit just in everyday life towards black men and black women, even black kids, once they get into a police department, they can carry it out, because then they are inside the law where they can do any crazy, bizarre thing you think of. Even some of them that are not in the police department, they still do crazy stuff. So I'm saying all of this is going on systematically. There are some things that's going on that we need to be aware and conscious about our surroundings. We need to have our eyes open And brothers need to stand up and be brothers. Look, systematically, do you know it's no accident that so many black men have been taken out of the community? See, taken out of the community, out of the home. So many brothers have been taken out. That's no accident, y'all. Because black boys, I'm not saying the sisters can't raise them, but black boys need their fathers to be there. They need their fathers. And brothers who are able to be there, they ought to step up and be involved in their son's life. That's straight up. You need to step up, be involved in your son's life. If you one of them brothers or one of them dads who you got everything else going on, but you can't be involved in your son's life, then how can you call yourself a dad? You just show up at a certain time, birthdays, Father's Day, or whatever, and then you all of a sudden you're a dad. You're part-time dad. That's not being a father. A father's full-time, 24/7. That's how fatherhood. That's how dad works, 24/7. You don't get no vacation. You don't get no leave. You don't get no time. None of that stuff. Now, if you're doing some other kind of dad, I don't know what kind of dad that is. If you're doing something else, vacation dad, part-time dad, no dad at all. We got that around too. But I'm saying, you got to be in this day and time. You got to step up and be a dad. If you're not being a dad, then stop trying to play like you are one, or stop trying to pretend that you one, because a dad is a dad. If you're not, you're not. That's it. Straight up, across the board. Fathers need to be talking to their girls, to their daughters, about being out late at night, about walking around late at night, about driving around late at night. I mean, fathers and family members have to talk to these young girls and these young women about, moving around at nighttime. I mean, look, if you don't have to be out at night, or you don't have to be going out at night, you don't have to be riding no train at night, you don't have to be riding no bus at night, you don't have to be hanging out at night, then what's the purpose of hanging out? Just to see what you can get into? With all the stuff going on, you don't have to get into nothing. It'll come looking for you. See, the trouble will come to you. It'll come and snatch you up. And once you get snatched up, there won't be anything that you can do. So I'm saying to young girls, to young sisters, if you ain't got to be out at nighttime, you don't need to be out, clubbing, all that kind of stuff, all that crazy stuff, running with your girlfriend. If you don't need to be out, you don't have to be out. It's smart and wise the day and time that we live in to be in. I know sometimes sisters, young girls and women take the attitude they grown, they can do what they want to do, they can go what they want, they can be out late. You can take that attitude, you can take all of that. But in this day and time that we living in, there's a consequences to all that. If you got that kind of attitude and that kind of behavior, and nobody can tell you nothing, you won't listen to nobody, and you figure that you can dress, wear what you want to wear, and be where you want to wear, go out when you want to, you can do all that, you can take all of that. But I'm going to say it again to all those young girls and young sisters out there who think that way. There is a consequences to that behavior, especially with the day and time that we living in. See? And if you're not aware, you just somebody just living in la-la land, and you don't pay any attention about your surroundings. You out somewhere and you got your head set in your ear, you got your music blasting, and you're not aware, even if you are aware, and you out driving around at nighttime, running around and running the streets, for what? What's the purpose? What's the point? I'm saying when you put your self in those situations, you don't know. And see, you have to understand, we're just like Gil Scott-Heron said on his song back in the day, the revolution will not be televised. Do you actually think that the revolution is going to be televised, that people are going to get on TV and they're going to say, this is going on and we're going to televise it? Do you actually think they're going to do that? Do you actually think they're going to tell you what's going on? You actually think they're going to tell you what they're doing? You don't actually think they're going to tell you what the plan and what the plot is? No. If you're thinking that, then you have missed the mark if you're thinking that. There's a revolution going on. There's a war going on towards black men and black women and black girls, the black family, black children. There's a war going on against that. See? And if we don't think so, And we think that they're gonna come on the news and they're gonna give us ABC and CBS and NBC or Fox gonna come on and they're gonna make a public announcement. If we think that's gonna happen, then we really in bad shape. Once again, I'll tell you, the revolution will not be televised. It is not gonna be televised. And if you think that these people gonna come on TV and systematically admit what's going on, what they doing, then you got another thing coming. You'll be waiting a long, long time. Trust me. That's just like you thinking somehow that this president is gonna come on and going to honestly. You think he's gonna come on and condemn white supremacists? Do you honestly think he's gonna come on and condemn? You think he's gonna honestly come on and have an honest discussion about white supremacists and the white supremacist movement? Do you actually think he's gonna do that? If you think that, then you're living in la la land. Then you really playing yourself. If you think that that's going to happen, it's not going to happen no time soon. It ain't gonna happen. See, so I'm saying systematically, this whole prison industrial complex that they have set up now is aimed at locking up, confining as many black men as they can. Don't you know when you take a large number of black men out of the community, out of the home, that has a direct effect on the black family? Do you not know that? It has impact on the black family. It impacts it. And these people already know that. Why you think that there's this prisons have become big business now? Why you think that? Because they plan on incarcerating and locking up more people. And they also are locking up young black women and black women at an alarming rate too. See? That's how you destroy and tear the black family down. Then we don't help it. We don't help the situation because we be doing some crazy, whacked out stuff sometimes. Some insane stuff that don't make no kind of sense at all. Don't even make no reasoning. Not only sense, it don't even make no reasoning at all. We do some crazy, whacked out stuff. See? So I'm saying, once again, the revolution will not be televised. And this, what's going on right now, is not going to be televised. See? So I'm saying to there, you need to be you need to be aware of your surroundings 24/7. You need to be aware of your surroundings. This is just a little short segment I want to bring to you about black girls and black women who are still missing, and some of the ones that they have bodies they have found and they have discovered. Inshallah, we'll continue to try to bring you these reports and try to bring you these broadcasts to let you know about black girls and black women that are still missing and bringing you updates from time to time.